And here we go. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Today is definitely Sunday. Valentine's Day was 2 days ago. These are my flowers that I got for Valentine's Day. I don't know if you celebrate or not. I've always celebrated Valentine's Day, whether I'm single or in a relationship. But yeah, I got flowers, I got pastries, and we ordered barbecue food for dinner, which has lasted us through the weekend, which is perfect. That's my favourite kind of food. Love barbecue food so much. I love barbecue. So it was a very successful Valentine's Day for me. We stayed in, which is my favourite way to celebrate anything. And yeah, so this is a bit of a catch-all video. I have a few things that I want to talk about, and I wasn't sure that I would have the time to do that at the end of the month, or that I would remember all of them. So this is going to be a book haul and then a book unhaul, and then I've got two sort of housekeeping things that I would like to touch on at the end as well. So I've got my cup of tea here because this is going to last a while, and this is pumpkin spice rhubarb from Honey and Sons, and I'm really enjoying it. Rhubarb is not my favourite type of tea, really. It's just it's very, I find it very herbal. You can taste the rhubarb definitely, but I would say it's my second of the black tea, so it's perfectly acceptable. This is my third cup of tea of the day. It's about 9 AM right now, and I've had a cup of Lapsang Souchong, which is one of my favourites, and this one was from, I think the Lapsang was also from Honey and Sons. No, it was from Daman Frère, which is a French brand. So a cup of Lapsang Souchong called Smoky Crocodile, and a cup of Winter Granola, also from Daman Frère, and they were both absolutely gorgeous. Some of my favourite teas in my collection. So starting with the book haul, I just bought some books at the beginning of the year to treat myself, and I wanted to show you the books that I bought. Just as a piece of context here, I have very limited space on my shelves for new books, for books in general here, even less actually than I used to have before in my former home. But so I try to keep it simple, and I try to have some rules for myself. So all of the books that I'm buying in physical form are favourites of mine. So I only own favourites on my shelves, which is gorgeous actually, which is wonderful, because every time I look at my shelves, it makes me so happy. But yeah, I just read them on my Kindle first. I live in a non-English speaking country, so I have to buy every single book I read, which because library just doesn't carry books in English, or doesn't carry recent releases in English at least. And so it's kind of it's very expensive thing. I wouldn't say a hobby, because it's my passion, but yeah. And so I only buy books in physical form which I've read before and which are favourites, with a couple of exceptions actually. I'm going to talk about that. So here is exception actually. Let's start with that first. This is At Home in Midfield by Jen Karen. It's a second-hand copy, and I bought this actually because I couldn't find it on ebook. I don't know if it exists actually in copy. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I just bought it in physical form. And hopefully this is going to be, I'm told, and I've read many reviews obviously because I'm buying it for myself. I've read a ton of things about this, and I've heard people talk about this on YouTube. I think Kate Howe and Jen's Reading Life have been talking about this series a lot, saying that it's a lot like Misread, whom we're going to talk about later as well. So I'm hoping that this is a cosy village tale with some fun and humour. And I know it's about a rector, yeah, it's a rector, bachelor rector called Father Tim, and yeah, and kind of cosy village tale, which is one of my favourite niche genres, I suppose. So yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be that. This is the first in the series, and I think the first few ebooks, I would say about 3 or 4 or so, for the first few books I would say about 3 or 4 or so, are not available in ebook format, so I had to buy a physical copy. It's not too bad. I do prefer my copy to be pristine, and this one isn't, but it's not too bad, so it's good for my shelves. That's fine, I'm fine with that. So At Home in Midfield. I'm hoping actually that's going to be a lot like one of my favourite authors, one of my favourite new to me authors, whom I rediscovered I would say last year, because I read her before, I think the first 2 books, but I properly reread her last year, and that was my huge foray into her bibliography, and that's Angela Thirkell. And Angela Thirkell wrote, she's dead now, but she wrote Cozy Village Tales, which are kind of romantic comedies with lots of matchmaking and just eccentric neighbours and eccentric characters, and all of her books focus on different people in the village. And I reread High Rising, which is the first one, and White Strawberries, which is the second one, last year, and they just shoot up straight to the top of my favourites list last year because it was so funny and charming. The first book focuses on Laura Morland and her son Tony, and Laura is a successful writer. Actually, she writes, it's so funny, she writes kind of pot boiling novels, and she doesn't really think there's any merit to that, which discussion for another day. I don't think she's right, but and she lives in a village and there's lots of things happening. It's kind of a romantic comedy type of thing, and lots of couples who do and undo, and her son Tony is completely hilarious. This is a book that actually made me laugh out loud, and the second one I think as well, but this one definitely. They are just, the relationship between her and her son is just pristine. It's so hilarious. So yeah, highly recommend those. Number 1 and number 2, White Strawberries, and I read, actually, I think the third one, The Demon in the House, is not available physically. At least I wasn't able to find it, I think, which was a very expensive copy, and it's definitely not available as an ebook, so I had to skip that. I read number 4, August Folly, and I wasn't charmed by it. It wasn't as good as the first 2 in my opinion, so I wasn't sure what to do, so I just downloaded the next 2 on my Kindle. I think they are Summer Half and Before Lunch. They are a lot easier to find since Virago reprinted them a couple of years ago, but some of the titles are still harder to find than others, like The Demon in the House, and I think the Brendans as well. I might be mistaken that, but I think a couple are in there. I just yeah, so it's part of a series, but you can very much read them on their own, and they focus, as I said before, on different characters each time, so you won't be too lost really. I adore them. I'm so happy I actually just pick her up again, because I read her ages ago and I just didn't continue on with the series, but I want to make it a point to read the entire series this year or next year, or in the next few years at least. Make her a priority. Next, for something, well, okay, let's stay on the cozy light romance genre. I don't know if it's genre, but tone, I suppose. Eva Ibbotson. I adore her. She has written a lot of books for children. She's dead now, so she wrote a lot of books for children. The Dragonfly Pool and The Secret of Platform something numbers. Definitely not 9 3/4, but something else, and which that sort of thing. I haven't read any of those, I think, but I have read all of her sort of light young adult romances. They are characters, I would say between 18 and 20, so very young girls, and each book, she has a bit of a formula. Each book focuses on a young girl who is absolutely a gorgeous heroine you'll absolutely fall for, and something happens in her life which completely transforms it, and she meets the hero in the process. So A Company of Swans, I adore these covers. They're out of print now. They are Pan Macmillan. They're out of print, but I desperately wanted them, so I bought them secondhand in the best quality I could find. So yeah, and I'm so happy, but I'm kind of mad at myself really that I didn't buy them when they were completely brand new. I would have loved brand new copies for my shelves, but I adore the covers. The illustrations are so gorgeous. Oh, they are some of I think the most beautiful books in my collection, really. So this one, A Company of Swans, is about Harriet who leaves, I think she flees she flees, yes, she flees England because she has grown up actually in a home with a Cambridge professor who is kind of cold and aloof, and she misses love, and she really misses love and the kind of unconditional love that she could have got from a proper, I suppose, family and a proper upbringing. And one day she meets a young boy who in a garden, it's kind of an enchanting story, and she meets a young boy who tells her that he's looking for the heir to his estate, and the heir to his estate is in the Amazon. And as it turns out, Harriet, who's a dancer, finds a ballet troupe who is going to the Amazon, and she follows them to the Amazon and meets the heir in the process. And this is gorgeous, gorgeous book, gorgeous story. This is the second one I read by Eva Ibbotson, and it's absolutely a great starting point. All of her books are, but I think this is a great starting point into her bibliography if you're looking for a book to try her. Really, A Company of Swans, again, absolutely gorgeous cover. God, I'm so in love. I can't believe I had that in my collection, honestly. It's so beautiful. Stunning job. The Secret Countess is number 2. This is the first book I read by Eva Ibbotson, and this one is about a countess who has to kind of work undercover, really, in an estate where no one knows that she is a countess. She comes from Russia. Her name is Anna, and she works as a servant and her secret really can't be revealed until it is. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I love that really kind of Anastasia type of trope. Well, not really, but she's not, you don't know what I mean. Speaking of Anastasia, actually, I'll have a few things to tell you at the end of the month, but I've been on a kind of Anastasia obsession journey era recently. The Morning Gift is about Ruth, who has to flee Austria during the Anschluss, and in order to flee Austria, actually, one of her family friends, I would say, marries her in order to allow her to flee Austria and to come to England to rescue her. So he marries her, so it's a marriage of convenience. But of course, many things happen. There's a lot of academia in this. He's a professor, and it's, oh God, it's gorgeous actually. And the title, The Morning Gift, I had no idea what it was referring to, if anything, and you learn through the course of the book what it refers to. And yeah, I just, God, this is a really good book. This is a really good book. But the beginning of the book does have some content warnings about Nazi Germany, and before she flees to England and escapes England, it's quite hard to read about it. It's very much based on Eva Ibbotson's own life and own experience of that time, but it's very hard to read. And well, yeah, it is very hard to read, but she doesn't linger on it too long. It's just, the implications are just horrible. So sorry, my stomach is rumbling. I'm just so hungry. Okay. It's 9 o'clock. I haven't had any breakfast because I just ate so much last night. We went to a restaurant for couscous, and it was amazing, but it was very filling, and I hadn't had any breakfast since now because I wasn't hungry, but apparently I am now. Number 4 is Magic Flutes, about Tessa, who is obsessed with music. And she is a princess, and she works undercover, I suppose, at the Viennese Opera House. And yeah, things happen. So things happen with an English gentleman when Guy, who is the English gentleman in question, buys her crumbling castle. So yes, you can imagine, this is my kind of author. Truly, princesses, countesses, working undercover, and yet all of her books are full of absolutely gorgeous magical details, Cinderella-like details, just fairy tale details about all of the gorgeous foods and clothing and flowers and the smells, and all of her heroines just have an appetite for life. And this is how she makes me feel. I just adore her. And the last one is A Song for Summer. Again, the absolutely stunning covers. Oh my God. This one is about Ellen, who is a very domestic type of girl. She loves domesticity, she loves taking care of her home, and she loves being at home and taking care of people. And she actually is brought up in a very intellectual household. She's brought up by intellectual suffragettes, and she answers an ad one day for a housekeeping position in Austria. So she flees England for Austria, and things happen over there. And honestly, just her books are just so immersive. They have made me want to visit Austria actually. Every time I just read one of her books, they make me want to flee to Austria myself and find myself some kind of a princess to visit to Austria with. But yeah, I just adore her, honestly, and the covers, and I just can't believe that I've got these books on my shelves now. I'm so grateful. Okay, moving on to fantasy. I bought a few fantasy books. My favourite type of fantasy is fantasy of manners and cozy fantasy. Fantasy of manners is kind of Jane Austen with magic, or Georgette Heyer with magic. So think tea, etiquette, Regency, that sort of thing. If you've got, yeah, so tea, etiquette, Regency I think is a good, my legs have gone to sleep, so it's just trying to hang in. Okay, this has been what, 15 minutes? My god, I'm aging. Okay, and this is, the first one is in the Ladies Occult Society, which I've talked about before. It's one of my favourite Fantasy of Manners series by Krista D. Ball, and this one, the first one, is actually a magical inheritance. And this focuses on Elizabeth Knight, who in the Regency, she has an ailing father, she has sisters to launch into society, and she's trying to manage the estate on her own. It's very difficult, until one day she receives an inheritance of magical occult books, and in order to discover the secret of these books, she has got to reach out to other women who have got magical talents, and that's how the Ladies Occult Society is born. And this is a very good series. It's one of my favourites because it focuses on Regency domestic details. It's very much about how to run a household, what everything costs, and what everything would have been prepared, and how a household is run really. And it's just got so many details about the Regency, which I personally absolutely love, and it's just my catnip, honestly. And it's got 4 books, so I've got I bought these a little while ago. So A Magical Inheritance is number 1. I love these covers, honestly. Love this picnic. Number 2 is A Ghostly Request. Do you know what this reminds me of? Actually, the scene of Haunted Manor in Disneyland or Disney World. Anyway, number 3 is In the Society of Women. Very Pemberley, Darcy, Pride and Prejudice coded this cover. Clearly, it's lifted from the movie. And the last one, which I actually wanted to show you, but it's the last one. So it was released at the end of last year, and I read it as an ebook. I had pre-ordered it on my Kindle, but I wanted a physical copy, and much to my surprise, it's actually a hardcover. Again, gorgeous cover, as we follow this family of women through their magical inheritance. It's got a very little magic, it's mostly domestic. This is a very slow burn romance. It takes 4 books to be resolved. Perfection. Adore them. God, the cover is so pretty. Who's it by? Indigo Chick Designs. No, sorry. Cover art. Sorry. Niken and Anindita. Niken and Anindita. Gorgeous work. Still in the realm of fantasy, I bought a book a few, I think, months ago, but I forgot to show you actually, and that's the latest book in the that's the latest book by India Holton. And India Holton is one of my favourite currently writing writers, that's hard to say, and she writes Fantasy of Manners very much in the style, I would say, of Gail Carriger. They are extremely funny, hilarious in fact, and I've got her entire bibliography, and her writing is just so clever. This one I hadn't shown you before. This is the first new series called Love's Academic, and the second one The Geographer's Map to Romance is coming out, I believe, in April. I've already pre-ordered a physical copy for myself because I know I'm going to love it. But the first one, the cover is so stunning. Absolutely adore it. I love the colour, I love the print, I love the design. God, her books are so pretty. I love them. I would kill for a hardcover. But anyway, this one is about Beth and Devon. Beth and Devon are both ornithology professors, and they are rivals in a bird competition. So it takes place in 1890 in an alternate version of Victorian England. It's got magic, it's got enemies to lovers, it's got just only one bed, it's got, oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's hilarious. Honestly, I laugh out loud at every single one of her books, and I really want to reread them very soon. I'm going to be making, one of my goals this year is to make a few recommendations video, which are specifically genre recommendations videos, and this is definitely going to be one of my videos. All of her books are really, she's gorgeous, and one of my absolute favourites are Fantasy Manors authors, so gorgeous stuff. And last but not least is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I am kind of annoyed at myself actually for not doing my due diligence by finding the best copy I could find. I bought this brand new copy, which is beautiful. The cover art is absolutely beautiful. So it's a brand new copy. I bought it on my Kindle last year full price, and which was, I believe, about the same price as a physical book, but I wasn't sure whether I was going to enjoy it, but the premise just sounded so good, and I absolutely fell in love with this book. But there is an Illumicrate, I think it's Illumicrate copy, which was released last year as a limited edition, and I should have tracked that down. So I'm just, because I only buy physical copies of books which are complete favourites, I really enjoy just tracking down the best copy I can find, the best limited edition copy I can find, not because it's limited edition, but just the best looking copy I can find in the best condition. So had I known that, I probably would not have bought this, and I would have bought the absolutely gorgeous, I'm going to insert a picture here, but it's a gorgeous purple edition, which yeah, I think Rebecca of something, I'm going to link her channel below, but Rebecca has got this copy, and I actually saw it first on her channel, and I thought, oh my god, I had already bought this. So oh my god, I should have tracked this down. So yeah, I'm kind of sad really, but this book is so good. Absolutely wonderful. This is cozy fantasy at its best. It's got Keela, who is a librarian, and when the capital in the capital city, and when the capital city of her world is taken by revolutionaries, she flees to the island where she was born and where she grew up, to set up a spell shop, and she sells jam, and she might be able to teach magic to people who haven't been able to access magic before through the books that were kind of kept hidden from them. So I just, yeah, the romance in this is so good. The hero is definitely a cinnamon roll. She's got a plant spider plant, sorry, called Kaz, who is absolutely very endearing and it's very funny book, and Keela is actually a lot like me. I really identified with her. She can't really deal with people. She would rather read a book, which is, I think, an introvert's dream to read about, really. And it's got just passionate speeches about books and reading, and about accessing magic being accessible to all, and reading being accessible to all. And it's a book lover's dream, this book, and I just absolutely loved it. And it's a very important book, and I just love it with all my heart. I have pre-ordered book number 2, and I have already seen preview copies just floating around. I haven't got any, but I'm definitely going to buy book number 2, and I love this book so much. I'm so happy to have got a copy, whichever way it comes in. Okay, so that was part of the that was the book haul. It's already 25 minutes, so trying to be quick here, but I just have so much love for these books. Yeah, all of them are just huge favourites. I'm just so happy to own them forever on my shelves. And the thing is, I moved several times throughout my life, and I've lost books along the way each time. So it's very it's heartbreaking to me, really, to have to start from scratch. I've had to start a whole home library from scratch twice in my life now, and it's very expensive, and but it's a labor of love, and just they are my treasures, absolute treasures, because I know what it feels like to have absolutely no books in the house and to have nothing and nowhere to put them and no money to buy them. So I don't take any single book for granted, let me tell you. Having said that, I do have actually on a whole a few books, believe it or not, for reasons. So let's talk about those. Okay, first off, Miss Reed, Village School. I love Miss Reed. She wrote Cozy Village Tales, and she's got 2 major series. I don't know if she's written any books beyond those, but she's got the Fresh Green series, which I have not read, and the Village School series, is that what it's called? Which I have read a long time ago, and which I would like to reread. She's very cozy, she's very, again, just village tales, which I absolutely love as a genre, especially when it's funny. And this is the first book, Village School. However, this is not the prettiest copy. Personally, I don't think it's the prettiest copy, and I don't know why I bought it. Honestly, I bought it ages ago when I was wanting to reread all of her books, and I don't know why I bought this copy in particular, because I don't think it's very attractive. So I would like a different copy. I do have, I'm going to insert an image here, but I do have a specific edition in mind. So it's all a matter of just collecting those books, even though they are out of print. Again, just finding the best condition for those books and just acquiring them little by little. So this is going away. Same with P.G. Wodehouse. Because of space, actually, I have had to make up my mind as to how I want to collect P.G. Wodehouse. He has written an enormous amount of books, and I love him with all my heart. But I have very limited space again, so I've decided to collect him in these omnibus editions. This is the first one. This one has got Thank You Jeeves, The Code of the Woosters, and The Inimitable Jeeves. So it's got 3 books in one. It's very compact, it's perfect for my shelves, and I do enjoy it very much. It smells good as well, which is always a plus. But so I'm collecting these in these editions, which also are brand new. Actually, they're still in print, which is a huge plus for me. I do like just pristine editions again when I can. So I'm collecting these in those editions, meaning that unfortunately I have to let go of these editions. I've got 2. I've got Thank You Jeeves and Much Obliged Jeeves in these editions. I prefer the covers in these editions. Honestly, if I had the space, I would buy these editions here, but because I think the covers are just so funny and so in the spirit of the books. But yeah, just don't have the space, so I've had to, yeah, I have to let go of these, unfortunately. And I'm still not sure about this, which is my kind of perfect, in an ideal world, I would be collecting these for the covers, and these because they are hardcovers, actually, in the Everyman's Library. And I think that's the only Everyman's Library book I've got in my collection right now. I used to own several, but they've disappeared during one of my many moves. But yes, I think I have to let go of this edition as well. As heartbreaking as it is, actually, because I love P.G. Wodehouse, I love this edition, but yeah, just don't have the space. Same thing goes for, in terms of better editions, okay, so for Mary Stewart. So I love Mary Stewart. She writes romantic suspense, and she is a very evocative and immersive kind of author, and all of her books take place in different settings, meaning that you really travel with her, because she's got a very immersive way to talk about traveling and writing, the countries that her books are set in. She's gorgeous. I love her. I have read about 5 or so books by her by now, and I would like to collect all of my favourites and read all of her bibliography. This is 9 Coaches Waiting. which is my favorite of hers that I have read. It's absolutely gorgeous. It takes place, I think, in the Alps, but it takes place definitely in France, and it's just absolutely wonderful. But I hate this edition, honestly. I just don't think the book is attractive. I'm so sorry, but I just think the book is attractive at all. What matters, I think, is the text, but honestly, when I've got such limited space on my shelves, I want to be happy with every single book I've bought, as happy as can be. So in the spirit of buying the best edition I can afford, I would like to have this edition of all of her books. So this is my goal, and actually this is what I ordered. So I've had to send a message to the seller saying that this is not what I ordered. I wanted this cover. This is what was advertised, and I got this instead, which I can understand. I mean, this is what is in print and this is out of print, but this is not what you ask for. So yeah, let's just chat about that. But I'm going to replace it definitely. And last but not least is a boarding school series, one of my favorite boarding school series. Actually, my second favorite boarding school series is the term books by, I don't know if there's a word for them, but the term books by Antonia Forrest. And I discovered Antonia Forrest actually when I had access to all of her books back when I was living in England. But she has been very hard to find. Actually, all of her books are out of print, and they have been slowly reprinted by Girls Gone By, and these editions have gone out of print too. So I've been able to buy brand new Autumn Term and the Attic Term in the Girls Gone By editions. The covers are okay. It bothers me that the font is not the same at all, and the format actually is a bit different too. As you can see, one is slightly larger than the other, but I would like to have them all, and they're very hard to find. But I've got a really nice copy, a brand new copy of Autumn Term now, so I think this one will have to go. Again, this breaks my heart because it was very affordable, and it was how I was able to reconnect with Antonia Forrest. Actually, it's the first book that I was able to find at an affordable price. Autumn Term. You can barely see the title. You can't see the title actually. It's gold on green, but I do like the cover. I think it's very evocative. Transports you into a scene straight away, I think. But yeah, so I probably will have to let go of this at some point, but yeah. Okay, so that was that, and then I've got a few housekeeping things that I want to talk about very quickly. So first is Spotify audiobooks. So I've been subscribed to Spotify Premium since my uni days, so it's been honestly more than a decade that I've been a Spotify Premium member. I had no idea that they had audiobooks on there. As a Spotify Premium member, you have access to audiobooks as part of your Spotify subscription, which are available for streaming, and a lot of them are just books that I would have had to spend a credit on Audible. So I was very shocked to find so many books on Spotify Premium which are just part of my subscription. I had no idea they had audiobooks at all. And now I'm rethinking my Audible subscription, really, because so many of the books I wanted to read, I wanted to listen to, are actually on Spotify. So I don't know what to do, really. I don't know what to do with the books I had on my wish list for Audible. But yeah, so right now I'm currently listening to an audiobook on Audible that I had paid for beforehand. But it's also available on Spotify, so I could have listened to that included, not for free, but included in my membership. But yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Sorry about my stomach. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but just so you know, if you don't know, there are tons of audiobooks on Spotify Premium. I've actually downloaded, I think, only non-fiction books for now. Victorian, Edwardian, Gilded Age books, mostly about the Gilded Age, about Victorian era, about the Edwardian era, mostly because I love listening to non-fiction on audio. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do that, and if you don't know, it's over there. Just they're kind of hard to find, really. You have to search for specific titles specifically to find them. I think they're not very good at advertising what's in their catalogue, but it's over there, it's there if you want it. And last but not least, I'm also in the process of perhaps revising my rating. This is more for me than for you, but perhaps revising my rating. I never talk about the number of stars that I give a book on this channel, because I just don't think it's really relevant. I've never really, to be honest, I've never really thought in depth about my rating in any way, shape or form. I know that people have guides to their ratings and what each star means and what's really personal to them. I've never done that before. If I love a book, it's 5 stars, and if I've got just one complaint about a book, it's 4 stars, and if it's an okay book, it's just not for me, but I finished it, it's 3 stars. That's basically it. I'm not a very complicated person, and if it's less than 3 stars, I've never finished a book. So yeah, I never thought about it in detail, but recently I've realised that what really matters to me is humour and comedy. And comedy for me is a huge plus. It's what I look for, honestly, in fiction. And it's a huge plus. So I'm wondering if I might not reserve my 5th star for books which are funny. So a book can be mind-blowing, but a book can stay with me forever. But if it's not for me, it's not going to get 5 stars, it's going to get 4. Or if I'm going to have completely separate category, I suppose, which I'm going to have to name at some point, for books which are funny, which to me are just the pinnacle of what a book should be. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just gave 5 stars to a book which was perfectly wonderful, but it wasn't funny at all, and I miss that. I always miss that when it's not there, and I thought, oh god, why don't I have something else for books which are not only just stay with me, but just are funny, like perfect books. I don't know, I'm just thinking about that right now. It's just a conversation I've been having with myself. But yeah, so I hope you have a fantastic Sunday, and I will see you definitely at the end of the month. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic Sunday and end of February. I haven't got anything planned for February much, I think. March is going to be very busy at work, so I'm just trying to take February kind of off. Taking as many days working from home as possible, taking as many holidays as possible as I can, days off, that sort of thing, and just recharge my batteries. And yeah, I've been thinking about my next holidays as well. Just exploring somewhere. I don't want to spoil anything, but I've been thinking about that too. It's all down to finances, so we'll see. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic Sunday, and I will see you very soon. Bye!